museum. And if you haven't been, honey, you need to come. If you haven't been in a while, you need to come back. I know there's a group of people out here that are taking advantage of the museum. We'll go inside.
I'm Amy Adelman. This is my husband, Michael Adelman, and this is my sister, Dr. Susan Horwitz from New York. We live in Hattiesburg. And the murals at the post office were done by our uncle, George Ahrens, in the 1930s under the WPA, which gave lots of artists some work to do during that time. And he did the murals in the post office here in Ripley today. They're still hanging, and they show the history of the United States Postal Service. We're delighted to be here in Ripley, Mississippi, and to have been able to see the wonderful museum that you all have here, and thank you for your hospitality.
Well, we appreciate you coming, and I appreciate you being on Daryl's little corner. Well, maybe I was a little premature about going inside. I tell you, a lot to be seen out here. This is a bell from Center School, and it's acquired by Wayman Elder. He was a trustee in 1962. People that enjoy seeing older things and enjoy this kind of stuff, and I'm one of them. Some of you fellows have probably used this stuff, or definitely I have not. But it is amazing, and this is before you even enter the door at the Tippah County Historical Museum, before you even go in the door. Now you can, yes.
The lid that you're looking at is an iron lid, and it was the cover to Rainey's swimming pool filter. You can see the L where it went into the pool, and this was the cover to it. And it was made, it was a filter for the swimming pool.
Isn't that something? Gosh. Okay, and let's step over here. Okay.
And this is a brick maker. And most of the small estates or farms would have a brick maker, and they'd make their own brick.
I didn't know that. Y'all. That's something. Now, I noticed that clothes wringers and the piece off of a wringer washer, that's not very big.
Well, that's what it was.
I used to have a wringer washer, but it was bigger than that. That's small.
Well, ours was too, but it was later.
Yeah.
That's an old model.
Oh, yeah.
See, that looks like a handmade thing.
Mm-hmm. It does. It does. Isn't that something? And that was donated by Bobby Yancey.
Mm-hmm. I forgot.
Isn't that something? Now, there's a well bucket, isn't it?
Yes, that is.
Isn't that a well bucket?
It's a well bucket if you had a bored well.
Mm-hmm.
But you had a roping bucket if you had a dug well.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, of course, milk cans.
Yeah. So we got a lot in store for us. A lot in store for us. Oh, I see what that is. Auger, calf yoke, 6-pronged wrench, a draw knife, bobbed wire, and stretching tool. Oh. Some of you guys will know what that is. That's a guy thing. Definitely a guy thing.
This is mule harness. I don't remember how it goes on a mule, but it's hanging up there.
That looks like work to me. But that's before you even... Oh. That again. Now this is the Ripley High School bell from 1915 to 1965, donated and erected by Lon and Billy Pickens. And I guess it was donated in March of '01, wasn't it?
Yes, that's when it was built.
Mm-hmm.
And
Isn't that neat?
then the bell was an upstairs bell, and it had a rope. See, the handle
Uh-huh.
was for a rope
Uh-huh.
that would pull it from upstairs. Downstairs, they had one downstairs, but I don't know what happened to it. They didn't
Isn't that
We
nice?
also got the center bell that's out there at the corner of our
Uh-huh.
flower house.
That's what that was. It was a flower house, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a flower.
Oh, I said it was
And
outside
she
there,
had
but I didn't know what it was.
She put some kind of heater out there. I don't know what kind.
I'll tell you a little history on this place you probably hadn't heard.
Okay.
My husband hired in, and he worked for McBride's Funeral Home. And he worked there for a good while, and he loved it. But when he first started, he would go out and pick the body up. And he brought a body into the back door, and then he'd go around to the front and open the door with a key and let himself in. Well, he went around to the front, he let himself in, and he got to the back door, and the body was gone. And he thought, Lord have mercy, and he thought that the police had played a prank on him because they were always goofing off back in them days and having fun, and they were all friends. And he called them and he said, "What'd you do with my body?" And they're like, "Get your body. What's your problem?"
Oh my goodness!
And
They were scared half to death.
hey, looking everywhere, and what it was, he didn't lock the wheels. And it rolled down this hill and rolled in the driveway about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, "Oh, Tate, if those people woke up and seen a body in the driveway." Oh, but it was something that I just think that.
Okay, you need to
That's
write
something.
that down. You can write a book when you get through with all this stuff.
Oh, this is.
Down to Ripley, down to.
That's from the original railroad.
And that's the switch that was at Faulkner.
Oh, that switches the tracks. Yeah. Yeah.
And we just cut that rail in two. It was left there, and during the war they took all the rails up and burned them. The Union soldiers did, and
I
after the
didn't
war
know
they
it.
had to put them back.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, y'all. Isn't that something? I'm going to turn around here. And Miss Coley, you want to tell us about these bricks? Let me see if I
The
can
brick
find them.
that you see here,
Oh, I got
Johnny Jumper got those from an old well in Faulkner. And he donated them, and when they would dig a well, they'd have to put the brick around the inside, and they fixed them so they would go with each other.
They try to zero in on one where they can see how they're shaped.
Yeah.
They're shaped where they'll go in a circle.
Hello?
And then the brick that walkway is made out of are handmade bricks, she said, from a store that used to be at Faulkner. Come out of the floor of that store. A bloodletting knife. Well, I read somewhere that George Washington
Oh, it was in our
died.
history books. When we were little, we read that. Said 3 doctors bled him, and he probably bled him to death.
Probably did. Now that is something, isn't it? But they believed back then that was the way, didn't they?
That mustache, that sign's supposed to be up front of that. I don't know how it got moved.
Well,
This is interesting.
keeps your mustache from getting dirty.
Oh, yeah. See, when you drink, here's the coffee come out here, but your mustache. If you had a mustache, you had to have
Isn't
a
that
mustache
something?
cup.
Yeah. Oh, those are pretty. It's barber bottles from Sam Edgston's
That was our
Topsy-Turvy Saloon.
in Ripley.
Oh, really?
We had a saloon here.
Isn't that something? That's amazing. That is amazing. Let me step back. Let's see.
Imogene Mathis had that mustache cup from belonging to my
She did.
great-granddaddy.
I know her. This is a bell. It says it was used in 1917. The France
That's the first fire truck.
Fire truck owned by Ripley Volunteer Fire Department. Isn't that something? Oh man, 1917. They kept it in good shape, didn't they?
Somebody's kept it well. They kept it, I guess.
And if you don't care, tell us again about this pot over here. I don't think used at the Southern Sentinel for making typeset for printing. Newspaper when owned by William Anderson family. The pot was found behind the Anderson home on South Commerce Street In the early 1950s, the kerosene heater used for heating lead had been deteriorated and could not be salvaged. Isn't that something? I tell you what, if y'all are watching and you have not been to the museum in a long time, you need to come.
Mr.
Here's an
Jensen.
old barber chair.
That's the barber chair for Mr. Jensen.
Well, he was using that.
I know it. He
I
used
mean,
it.
just not long ago. Not long ago.
It has all about him up there and his mug and
Oh,
the hand
yeah.
razor.
Let me see if I
hand
can-
clipper.
See if we can get a little shot of that. Isn't that something? And that stuff on the wall is out of his shop, isn't it? Oh, look at that old hand clipper.
And then when he died, we had those things.
Isn't that something?
And Miss
Sure
Gertrude
is.
lived several years after he died.
Yes,
His
she did.
second wife.
She did.
It was his
She
third
did.
wife, I believe.
Yes, she did.
Okay, this belonged
Okay,
to
let
Ruby
me-
Yancey. And
Okay. Now this is
That's
an old
something
permanent
nobody's
wave machine. Some of you ladies will remember getting these permanents where they, boy, I tell you, that thing's tall, goes all the way
Ruby
to
Yancey
seven.
neighbors, it was her machine.
Was Miss Ruby's. That, I bet Joe took good care of that thing. I'm telling you,
When
isn't
she
that
finished
amazing?
with it, she carried it to her daddy's shop. And
Uh-huh.
Bobby kept it in that shop. And when I opened this museum, he brought about the first thing that he brought, said he didn't need it out there anymore. And he was getting it out of his shop.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we got it. And I put that on top, the hat. When that machine became in and women curled their hair, they quit wearing hats.
Yes, they did. They did.
So that stopped the boutiques from making hats. That was a sale that stopped almost.
If you notice now, the hair is flatter and you're seeing more and more hats. We're in the Tippah County Historic Museum. This is the room with souvenirs. If you come with souvenirs in the Tippah County Historic Museum.
We have books that have had editors from the county published, and they're for sale. They make wonderful gifts. We have them for
Yes,
sale
they do.
here in the museum. And the World War II veterans that the Tippah County Development featured one time, we have those CDs for sale. We have postcards, colored postcards of scenes in Ripley, and we're expanding those.
Uh-huh.
T-shirts and other memorabilia.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about those birdhouses.
Also, two left birdhouses made by Johnny Jumper from Faulkner. We have other articles of crafts made by local people.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone makes crafts and would like to donate some for sale at the museum to help the museum, we'd appreciate them.
Oh, that is so neat. An old pot-belly stove. Mm-hmm. Let me step back, belly stove.
We do have small flags for sale, American and Confederate.
Uh-huh. There we go. Where'd the pot-belly stove come from?
J.C. Nance's store when he closed, his grocery store.
Oh, really?
That was the only heater he had in that big store.
Oh, I remember going
J.C.
up
and
there at
Mary's
lunchtime.
store right across on the corner.
I remember going up there at lunchtime and getting that is
He'd make you
something.
a bologna sandwich or any kind of sandwich you wanted, you know.
And cheese, had the best cheese I've ever eaten in my life.
She did. And
Yes, I did.
he had plants that people bought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, David bought all of our garden plants from him.
Yeah, we bought seeds and they'd measure them out in this little scoop thing.
Right.
Uh-huh. Not like these packaged seeds.
And they came up and they didn't wither either. They made
That's
it.
right. That's right.
And Miss Howard, who lived in it last.
Uh-huh.
And then we have a picture of the house when it was built.
See if I can get a
But
shot.
I have a postcard of that, I think.
Ah. Let me get around here and see if I can get a good.
He's the one who built the house. He was county clerk before the Civil War. And he's the man who carried the books to Dumas and kept them. And then when the courthouse was burned, we lost no county books.
Isn't that great?
And he brought,
Now, when y'all are
Her
just
mother
getting a
had married a
taste of
porter.
this, a porter.
and she had a rooming house here for about 45, 50 years.
Oh,
And I guess, and then Hermie got it, and then she married the Howitt, and I think it just got so much to keep up, she couldn't keep it up.
probably.
Had 1 penny. Well, he got wise, he said, everybody go by, and he'd get plenty of pennies. But then he decided that he'd make more money, so he put a little sign up that said 5 cents. He raised it from 1 to 5 to weigh. So you put a nickel in instead of a penny.
And now who was it?
Kyle Smith.
Kyle Smith. Kyle Smith's daddy bought that for him.
And then later, when he moved it from the sidewalk in front of the store, they put it in the courthouse and stayed there until they just remodeled it not too long ago. You remember when they moved the courthouse?
Yes, I
Put
do.
all those books upstairs on the 3rd floor and
Uh-huh.
made such a
Isn't that
mess.
something? Yes, isn't that something? But y'all are just getting a taste of this. You really need to come visit the museum.
Okay. When on the turn, come on.
It's all right.
It's too dark, I guess, for you. They'll come on in. They're supposed to be,
Now, who's in the picture?
that's Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson Davis.
I mean, our Southern president.
Uh-huh.
Did you know Abraham Lincoln was not our president ever?
He wasn't.
13 states seceded.
Well, that's
He was
right.
not elected till after the secession of North Carolina or South Carolina, whichever one was first. And he died before the end of the war, before we.
Well, I never thought about it.
But that's not in history books. Nothing is in history book. It's just
Oh,
talk.
probably not.
No, they don't. I think history's written by somebody that read another book, and
That's
I don't know
probably
whether
right.
that was even right or not. Did I need to bring your water around with
No,
you?
you're fine. Thank you. Oh, isn't that something? Look at the train on that. Who drew that board? Do you know?
You mean Faulkner?
Yeah.
It was done. It's not a drawing. It was
Oh.
done with the, what do we call that thing in our classroom that projected the picture on the wall?
Oh,
I forgot what you call it.
I don't remember.
Taught
either.
39 years and I
I
can't
don't
remember.
remember
29.
Oh,
No, 39.
projector.
But anyway, and then John Mark took, he took the marker and marked it.
Isn't that amazing?
What is that thing called? It was the first
Projector, isn't it?
projector.
Yeah, projector.
Projector.
Uh-huh.
But this is our first railroad. Maybe bigger that would have been, but this on the floor is the machine that they repaired the rail with of the first railroad.
Oh,
And it was called, the train was called the Doodle Bug. That's what they called it. And that's what it kind of looked like, that drawing. And then we did have a wooden thing of it, but Tommy, somebody, whoever had it, they wanted it back. We didn't get it. And
let's see if we can pick up anything in this.
this was donated by Daryl Crawford. It's a sword by his aunt's husband, great-grandfather. And I don't know whether you can pick up the...
I don't know,
I'm
the
gonna
light
have-
may.
Well, Johnny Breland is supposed to be coming. See, all this stuff was given to us. We didn't buy anything. And that's part of the rail over there that was burned from Faulkner when they took the railroad out of the Civil War. See that, how it's burned there?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so he's gonna put lights around this so we can see and tell down there.
Uh-huh.
But these the cases were all given to us to those stores, you know, they closed up there.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, they didn't have electricity. I mean, you know.
Isn't
When
that
you went in a
amazing?
store, a clerk waited on you. When I was little, you didn't go in and get
Oh, I
anything.
know. Oh, I know. And now you're doing good
Oh.
if they put it in the bag. I
That's
know.
right.
Everything's
And
self-service.
some of the memorabilia,
Self-service.
it's just like they had a lantern and all that. Now those iron things are pins from that leaven. Those actually held the rail down, whatever you call them.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's something. I'm telling you, if you haven't been here, you really, I'm gonna walk over here
Okay.
and,
This
oh!
This is my young auntie. She's a sister to Lonnie Pickens' daddy. So she moved in the house with his mother and daddy. You know, been her mother and daddy.
Yeah.
And Mike Young, here in town somewhere, I guess, over there on the hill where they live. And he was reared here and finished school here. But here is his picture with his daddy's tomb. We've got to go out there and get that tomb. I don't know whether it's still fixed up like that or not. But then he served in World War II and stayed until after was in the Air Force. He married Mr. Ryman's daughter Louise. We went to school together at Sanatoga at junior college. Now this is his memorabilia. And he had this picture thing, you know how they'd put them in
These
the
are
back.
like, yeah, these are old.
Yeah, that's his his daddy.
Uh-huh.
And when they got beat, the Union Army at Bryce's Crossroad, the general told them to get back to Memphis any way they could. So they came through Ripley, left 2 cannons, and do you know those cannons were on that courthouse yard, facing the west, or sent them to Corinth.
Uh-huh.
And that was
I
awful.
did. Yes.
But anyway, and that's a Civil War saddle. That's a mourning dress that now, nobody in our small community here wore a dress like that when you
No, I bet they didn't. Isn't that gorgeous?
That's like, you know, what they did with a plantation home or something like that. But I never saw my mama or anybody in anything but gingham
Uh-huh.
ever in an apron.
Well, I
They
bet
wear it a
that's
whole
right.
week and
Wash it when they couldn't stand it no
wash
more.
it once a week. But these are the people who had, and they burned all of this, see. And then they built we know the courthouse looked.
And that's the same type.
That is a uniform that's made. It's just a copy.
Civil War artifacts found in this county by who?
Larry Mulligan,
Larry Mulligan.
W.A. And then Marlon Grissom, his uniform, and he wrote the song, Ain't It a Dilly? And it was copyrighted, and it's published overseas more. And he's dead. He died about 2 or 3 years ago. But he also made boots. And this is the fiddle that he learned to play on, that he played. And he is, of course, a local boy. He was Marshall Grissom's
Well, is that
grandson.
his shirt? I guess it is.
Harp songbook. Harp-shaped notes, that's what they all sang.
Uh-huh. Isn't that something?
And of course, he's brought his awards that he and Hazel got.
Isn't that something? Yes, he's
You know, we have a lot of famous people from Ripley.
you know we do. We really do.
And all of us, I think everybody's achieved. At least we survived, didn't we?
That's right.
And that was achievement for us because we had to live on a limited income. We all, like she said, you know, today I said, my goodness, you didn't,
That's
we
right.
didn't have the union bargaining for us prices. They're going to Highway 30.
Well, I have a grandchild buried there. You know, I should have known that. It does look like it, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but you see the little board in front, that was the stepping board between those 2 trees.
Oh,
And they put
yes.
a rod in there now. Women wore the side saddle over there,
uh-huh.
and they had to get up on that block to get up on the horse because they wore skirts
Oh, that's right.
and a side
That's right.
saddle.
This is a side saddle.
My mother taught school riding a horse with a side saddle.
Well,
Now that's a picture of the stepping stone at Wire Shop.